Hey guys, what's up? It's Samantha, and today I am coming at you with the hottest of hot mess plan with me's. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong between me filming this and me editing and voiceovering this. I have had technical difficulties out the wazoo, but I'm here, I'm persevering, I'm voiceovering this for like the 8th or 9th time, trying to get the issues ironed out. I think we are finally there. It has been an ordeal. My voice is shot, so I apologize if it starts cracking like crazy. I have my water here. We're just gonna roll with it. So I wanted to do a more white space spread, and I'm going to apologize real quick here. My camera is going to start tilting down. I didn't realize it was moving. One of the screws like on my tripod was loose, and the camera just very slowly started to move down. It does get fixed. I apologize. I am using a new microphone, so hopefully the audio quality sounds okay. I've had issues with it. I think I figured it out. I think we're there. Real quick, I'm going to talk about the 3 books that I read this week. I did have a request from my friend Krista to put the cover up on screen so that you can get an idea of what the book looks like. So I'm going to just throw the cover up on screen for a few seconds, put it in a place on the screen where not too much is going on. So I'm going to just do real quick rundowns of these books that I read. So the first one that I read was a physical arc of The River of Silver by S.A. Chakraborty. And this is a collection of short stories and deleted chapters, scenes from the Daevabad trilogy, which is an excellent historical fantasy with a lot of political elements and amazing characters. It's one of my favorite fantasy series of all time, and I obviously cannot talk about the things going on in this collection of short stories without spoiling basically anything in the original trilogy. But this was wonderful, and you get a lot of insight and more background into different characters. You get to see what some of the characters were up to during some of the time jumps in the series. I adored this. It emotionally destroyed me all over again. I don't know how I thought I could read a Daevabad anything and not be emotional over it. But yeah, this got me. This is actually already out on audio, but the ebook and the print version aren't coming out until October. And I did read, like I said, an arc of the print version. But if you can't wait, you can get the audiobook right now to listen to. So then the next book I read was a book that I had an arc of, but I never got to the arc. So I downloaded the audiobook from my library, and it was the Cartographers by Peng. And this is a book that I felt like had all of the things in it that I love. The main character is a cartographer. Her parents were cartographers. Her dad works at the New York Public Library in the map room. And there's some dark academia aspects. There's a fantastical element. There's a murder mystery at the core of it. Just all things that sound excellent. And I loved the first few chapters of this book, and I was so excited. I had really high hopes. I started reading this and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a new favorite. And unfortunately, this did kind of fall short as it went along. The audiobook narration for this is great. I love Emily Wu Zeller, who narrates this. She's one of my favorite audiobook narrators, so I did really enjoy that. And I did really enjoy the pacing, and I felt like this really was, like, the mystery was very compelling and it pushed you through the book very quickly. But where it fell short for me is that the fantastical element opened up a lot of plot holes that are not addressed, and it was just very confusing. I didn't quite understand how this fantastical element worked, and I felt like the plot holes were so glaring that it took away from my enjoyment of the story. If you're someone who can just take things at face value and you don't question them and you just can look past plot holes like that, then that might not bother you as much as it bothered me. But unfortunately, it did take away from my enjoyment of the story. There's also a very large cast of characters that isn't introduced till about halfway through the story, and we do get some point of view chapters from them. And I couldn't tell them apart, and I feel like I wasn't emotionally connected to them, and it was just an odd way of jumping between timelines and telling the reader and the main character what happened in the past, I just didn't vibe with it, and I didn't feel emotionally invested in what was going on because we spend the first half of the book basically exclusively with the main character. So I didn't really love that choice either. I still can't figure out, like, keep everyone straight. It was just very odd. So definitely was let down by the end, but I still gave it 3 stars. I still liked it. I'm not upset that I read it. I didn't dislike it, but it was not a new favorite for me. Unfortunately, I might check out other books by this author in the future. Again, it did seem like it would have all the elements, and I loved the beginning of this book. It just fell apart for me as the fantastical element was introduced. So then the final book I read was an advanced listening copy of Below Zero by Hazelwood, which I got from Libro FM. And unfortunately, this is far and away my least favorite out of the STEMinist novellas. All of these novellas feature a woman who works in a different STEM field. I believe all 3 of the main female characters went to grad school together and they are friends. And now they're all working in different places. And this main character, I feel like the issue I had was more with the male love interest, and that we don't really see him. Like, he's just not on page. And I was so confused by this book because I felt like instead of reading something that was structured and plotted like a novella with like an appropriate amount of character backstory for a novella length thing, this felt like I was reading 50 or 60% of a novel. We had all of this backstory for the main female character. We barely see the dude. We're expected to buy into this relationship when they're hardly on page together. And then even the steamy scene at the end, like what this is ostensibly building up to, is cut short. You don't even get the full steamy scene. And I was so confused by that choice. It was very confusing to me, and I didn't understand why that happened. The whole thing just felt odd. I felt like I was reading, like I said, 50 or 60% of a novel, and the author hadn't finished writing all of the chapters yet. But, like, not even, like, we didn't get the end of it. Just, like, there were random, like, scenes missing in the middle of a full-length novel, and I just got the backstory and, like, 2 scenes of these characters together. I don't know. I did not particularly like this. I gave it 2 stars. The other 2 novellas were great fun. I think they're all coming out on ebook at different times, but I do believe, at least on Goodreads, it has a bind up shown of all 3 of them. So I don't know if it's like not up for pre-order or anything, but I'll put the date. Like when I showed the cover, I put the date of when the Kindle ebook version of this is coming out. The audiobook is already out right now. And yeah, those were the three things that I read this week. And, you know, we got some highs, got some lows, but yeah. So then getting into what I actually did this week. This was kind of a weird week. I had a lot of insomnia this week. Just wasn't sleeping very well, was feeling very stressed out. Not because of like anything that happened this week, but just sort of like general like stuff with the house, like not knowing when our house is going to be done, and just a lot of things being up in the air, just like general things I can't control, and feeling stressed out about those sorts of things. But Monday and Tuesday of this week were basically the same. I spent all day, both days, working on YouTube stuff. So filming, editing, voiceover, making thumbnails, uploading stuff, getting things scheduled. And on Monday and Tuesday night, we watched a bunch of Bridgerton. And as you saw me note on Monday, Joe was driving me nuts because he wouldn't be quiet. I hate when people talk while I'm watching TV, and Joe would not stop talking while we were watching Bridgerton, so I ended up kicking him out of the living room because I had to rewind and rewatch a scene like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times because Joe kept talking over the same sentence over and over and over again. And I was like, look, dude, if you can't be quiet, I'm going to kick you out. And he's like, okay, I'll be quiet. And then I hit play and he immediately started talking again. And I was like, okay, well, you cannot watch this with me because I am going to like lose my head. So I ended up watching the rest of that episode alone. And then we watched the rest of the season on Tuesday night. And Joe was delightfully quiet. I hate when people talk while I'm watching TV. One of my biggest pet peeves, like the remote is right there. If you need to talk, you need to ask a question, you want to comment, pause the TV. That's all I ask. And he just kept talking. It drives me nuts. And then we finished Bridgerton on Tuesday. Wednesday, I just like listened to my audiobook of the Cartographers and played games on my iPad. I talked to my mom. Joe was just, I don't know, like I've been with my husband for a decade. I love him dearly. Obviously, he's like my best friend, but every once in a while, you know, this was just a week of Joe driving me up the wall. He was driving me nuts on this day. I mean, it's like all fine, but like just when you live with someone for a decade, occasionally you're going to have days where you're driving each other nuts. I know I drive him nuts sometimes. He was driving me nuts this week. And I did have a bit of a fangirl moment on Wednesday because RF Kwong shared a reel that I made about being excited about reading my arc of Babel, and she shared it to her stories on Instagram, and I was very like fangirl about that. So I was very excited about that. Yeah, and then Joe continuing to drive me nuts this week. I fell asleep before he did on Wednesday, and then he woke me up by accident. Like he not like doing normal like sleep noises. He was like playing a video game, I think, and like was being way too loud and woke me up. And then I couldn't fall back asleep and I was up half the night and I was pretty peeved about that because I was already having like insomnia issues. My sleep was just screwed up this week, but it happens. At least I'm able to sleep in now because I don't have to get up to like go to the office anymore, the library office. But yeah, Thursday and like Friday, I listened to a bunch of my audiobook and like played iPad games. Friday, I was listening to the Below Zero audiobook because that was when the new Libro FM like audio arcs, whatever, came, audio arcs. I don't even know words anymore whenever that came out on Friday. And Friday night we had like a bit of a date night in. My back was killing me from sitting in like a not supportive chair while I was planning. I really need to get a new ergonomic desk chair. I've been kind of putting it off, waiting for the new house, but I might need to buy it before we're in the house and just try to like guess what my aesthetic for my office is going to be. Cause my chair is killing my back and I didn't want to stand to cook. So Joe went and got Olive Garden takeout. And then we just hung out, and Saturday my back was killing me again. Like it actually hurt enough that I took a nap in the middle of the day. I like took Aleve and some CBD and was just like, I am going to lay down, like take pressure off my back and hope this goes away. I only nap like maybe 3 or 4 times a year. So you know, if I'm napping, I don't feel well. And then Joe went out for sushi with his friends on Saturday night, and I like just got time alone to chill in the peace and quiet without Joe talking. I like literally don't know how someone who is as quiet as I am, and I hate background noise, I hate like hearing anything in the background, is married to like the world's loudest human being who never stops talking. So we are definitely a case of opposites attract. And then I had insomnia, unsurprisingly, on Saturday night, probably because I fell asleep during the afternoon, which is part of why I don't nap, because it just always screws up my sleep. And then Sunday, I just like had a chill day. I played balloons. I was planning, and then I like went to go sit down on the sofa to, I think I was like organizing stickers or something involving planning, or I was pulling stickers. I don't know. I sat on the sofa and I opened up YouTube to like put something on while I was doing like a mindless thing. And the algorithm recommended me a video from a creator called Emma Cruises, who makes videos about cruise ships. So like, I have no interest in going on a cruise. I hate boats because I get super bad motion sickness. I hate feeling like I'm trapped and I can't leave a situation. I hate traveling. I hate sleeping in hotels because I just don't sleep when I'm in hotels. There's like nothing about a cruise ship that is appealing to me whatsoever. And I like am still have no interest in going on a cruise ship. But I fell down this YouTube rabbit hole of like people who just make content about cruise ships. And I like can't stop watching it. I've been watching it nonstop for the last month. I think I watched like 5 hours of cruise ship videos on this Sunday. Emma Cruises is probably my favorite. I find her very soothing, and she's very organized and very like type A. And I appreciate how she like talks about things and stuff. I just find her very calming and soothing. Again, no interest in actually going on a cruise ship, but I find them fascinating. So that was what I did on Sunday. It was one of the more bizarre internet rabbit holes I've fallen down. And even my husband is like, why are you watching videos about cruise ships? He's like, do you want to go on a cruise? And I'm like, no, like this sounds awful. And Joe was like, why are you watching it? I'm like, cause it's fun. And Joe's like, okay, like whatever. But he's actually watched some of the videos now with me, and he also agrees. He thinks Emma Cruises is the best out of all of the different ones I've watched. So, and then Joe and I played some balloons, and we ended Sunday night with watching Howl's Moving Castle, which is like pretty much the only movie we watch these days. Neither Joe nor I are big movie people, and we like watched Encanto a few times. We like the music in that one a lot. But Howl's Moving Castle is pretty much the only movie. If we're gonna watch a movie, we just watch Howl. So, yeah, I think it's because we both view like Howl and Sophie is very much our relationship dynamic. Like he is very much Howl. Like that is, if you've seen Howl's Moving Castle, my husband is Howl, and I am very much Sophie. So it's just we love that movie. We love watching it together. It's just like a nice, calm movie. And I love the soundtrack. So yeah, this is the finished spread. And I think I finally got through this voiceover and everything is okay. Wow. But yeah, I really love how this kit turned out. I don't use the rose gold foil very much, but I really like how it works with this kit. So, you know, we made it. I do wish I had some washi to incorporate in with this, but it's just hard because there isn't really very much Simply Gilded washi that has that like rosy pink foil in it, and then having it match like the colors of this spread. It wasn't going to happen. So, you know, I'm looking forward to pulling in lots more washi in my next spread. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.